Divinitas salutaras, vativas libertas.
Hello everybody and welcome to Let's Play Total War Rome Remastered. Oh yes, it's finally starting and I cannot wait. We are revisiting this classic, my favourite Total War game of all time. We are revisiting it in its remastered guise for one last campaign. For when I have finished this campaign that I am going to be LPing here, I probably will never play this game again, so I'm going to enjoy and savour every minute of it. So we've had the first look stream a handful of weeks ago, and in a completely unbiased vote you helped me pick my faction. This will be a regular LP to start with. It will have a roleplay element in about a month's time. We are going full scale nostalgia here, and yeah, I'm just really looking forward to it. So why sit here and blather on anymore? Let's dive in and kickstart this baby. Oh, I'm just enjoying the music, if you wonder what the hell I'm doing. So, faction Carthage. Campaign difficulty hard. I usually put it on hard campaign difficulty. I usually put it on normal battle difficulty just because it doesn't improve the AI at all. It just gives them extra bonuses when you go up the difficulties. But I will, I think maybe for the first time or maybe the second time, not quite so sure, put it on hard battle difficulty. You know, you could argue that I'm a seasoned Total War player at this point. So we'll go hard. Faction difficulty is already down as a hard start, so this could be interesting. The early days could be interesting. We could end up with a game over. Can you imagine that? The only Total War campaign where I end up game overing on is my favourite one of the lot, the one that I played the most. You wouldn't be able to write that, would you? Right, okay, so here we are, Imperial Campaign with Carthage. Read that at your leisure. But the one thing that I'm taking away from this introductory kind of blurb here is the fact that they were a kind of a maritime superpower. And of course, we'll see also from the introductory video that they were quite the traders. And the reason why I raised that is it would be nice if we could kind of recreate that as well within the campaign. So focusing on Navy supremacy, something that I don't usually do in a Total War. Navy has never been one of my strong points in any campaign, really. So that would be a change for me, so that would be quite cool to get a navy up and running and powerful as soon as possible, and focusing on that trade to give us that financial stability to use to fund our campaigns. So that would be quite cool. But anyway, it's time, folks, it's time. Let's get this show on the road.
Last night, I had a terrible dream. I saw Carthage in ruins, our temples defiled, their treasures scattered over the sands, and the terrible cries of our women moved the gods to tears. My son, sit with me a while, that I might tell you of our city, for soon her safety will be entrusted to you. We Phoenicians are a civilized people. Ours is a peaceful way, the rule of law and the pursuit of commerce. As traders and settlers, we have brought wealth to many distant shores. Yet, in strengthening our colonies, we have stretched ourselves thin, and now, as I look out from our beloved Carthage, I see her surrounded by many dangers. The Celts and Iberians, thieving tribes who live to raid our rich towns. Bloodthirsty Numidians, unpredictable as the desert winds. The Greeks, so like ourselves, yet foreign in all their values. And worst of all, the black-hearted Romans, bane of all who encounter them. Study these peoples and their stratagems of war, my son. Be ready. Do not let this old man's dream come to pass.
All right. It was actually the intro video that sold me on the Carthaginians, you know, for the most part. I quite like the concept of the trade. Anyway, here we are, the beloved campaign map. So this session is an overview session, which I won't harp on for too long, but what it is, it's just to give you all an in-depth look at the starting position that we find ourselves in. Then I'm going to record the first session tomorrow proper, but between you seeing this and me recording the session tomorrow, there's an opportunity. There's a small window of opportunity for you to post your comments, your kind of advice, your suggestions for what we might want to do to kick things off, what direction we should go, you know, maybe even a bit more minutiae than that. There's also a Discord channel on the Discord server for the Rome Total War LP, so again you can stick it in there as well, but it's just an overview so that we can see in depth where we are as we kick things off. So no gameplay today, sorry to disappoint you, but it's good to see our beginnings in great detail. This will assist me at least to get a handle on what the situation is and make my plans for tomorrow. So, you know, want this to be highly efficient, you know. Right, so where do we start? Let's have a quick look then at some of the screens here. That are the most important. A lot of these screens, I've gone through them now with a fine-tooth comb, and I'm not that impressed, to be quite frank. Some of them I think are just unnecessary, but we'll go through some of the more important ones. So to start things off, the most important one for me, of course, is the family tree. The family. This is it. This is us as we currently stand. Our family. We have Hanno, the faction leader, who has had 4 sons. We've got Hasdrubal, the oldest and the faction heir at 45. He's 65. He's not got long left. He could die in the first couple of turns. You've got Burus, the middle son, who's had 2 sons of his own. Hasdrubal has, looks like, 1 or 2 sons. Can't quite tell. And then we have son here, Theopanes, and then an even younger son who's not yet of age. So 4 sons for the big man, and also a couple of grandchildren who have come of age as well. So this is the family tree. Drink it in, get a feel for the family as it currently sits and stands. So that's the first one that was quite of interest to me. The rest of these other screens, we can get to these the old-fashioned way. And what is the old-fashioned way, you say? Well, the old-fashioned way for me is just clicking on the damn cities and stuff, because that's what I do. I don't like these overview screens. I like to go in and see what's going on. So what we're going to do is we're going to go from west to east, looking at all of our settlements and all of our generals and our current position, and that should give us an idea of where we are and therefore what we might want to focus on in our early turns of the campaign. So let's start with this area here. We have Carduba on the southern tip of modern-day Spain, and let's have a look at it. So it is a town. Now, the governor of that town is... get the right screens on here. This chappie, Theopanes, the 3rd son of the faction leader. So his stats are here: command 3, influence 2, management 1. He's got a merchant follower. He's got a command talent, an understanding of strategy. He's sharp, and he's also devout. Now, there's a common theme running through this family. They're a religious family, and they like a bit of trade. So, you know, combining that with our overall kind of direction for the campaign, trade and naval supremacy, these all fit in very nicely. But he's more of a commander than a sort of a management man. So that's the general himself. In terms of his army, he's got a couple of units of round shield cav, some Iberian infantry, skirmishers, and then these Balearic slingers. Now, I'm thinking that these guys are mercenaries, because they're rather expensive. Upkeep, 200 upkeep, and they're also in green rather than white. So I'm thinking that these are mercenary slings. I could be wrong. Let me know if you are aware, but they are a bit pricey, which is quite interesting because we are earning 1,800 per turn, and a lot of that is the other expenditure is coming from salaries and upkeep. So we may want to trim a little bit. But anyway, so that's his army as it currently stands. In terms of the settlement itself, it's a bit bare bones, really. In addition to the barracks, there's a trader. The governor's house is there, so not that much at all. So in terms of recruitment, not much. We can recruit peasants, town militia, and therefore we've got quite a few buildings open to us. The whole kit and caboodle, pretty much. The wooden palisade, land clearance, roads, mines, and then a temple. Now the temples, we have a Tanit temple, which increases farmland and public order and population growth bonuses. We have the Shrine to Baal, which is the public order due to law and happiness. And then the Shrine to Melkart, which could be a very popular shrine across the land, because that gives us 10% income to trade. Trade income bonus of 10%. And given our kind of outlook, this could be the temple of choice for the most part. So that's what's available for us to construct here in Carduba. So that's the position that he finds himself in. And he also has at his disposal a diplomat. Ribadi Ilerda, 2 influence, a courteous man. This man shows every sign of maturing into a shrewd... Maturing? He's 47. How much more mature do you want him? But anyway, there's the Spanish to the north, I think, at some point, so maybe seek them out, and do we wish to trade with them, or do we wish to turn our blades upon them? Who knows? But it's something worth considering. So that's the situation here at Carduba. As we move slightly to the east, we have also a nice little island, Palma. Little town there, and all that is built here is a governor's house. Very bare bones indeed. Been ruled by Theodecalus. Pronounced with precision, you'll notice. Not. He's 22. One of the grandsons of the leader. He's nothing much to write home about. Perhaps this is why he's been stuck on an island in the middle of nowhere. But his management is 2. He's a skilled bureaucrat, perhaps more of a governor than a commander. He's got a merchant follower. You'll notice this is a theme. Again, trade. He's got a couple of these Balearic slingers and some town militia. I'm thinking these guys are wasted here. I do think some trimming is definitely needed. Again, not much peasants only to recruit. And construction-wise, well, again, the whole kit and caboodle is available here to us. Barracks, trader, land clearance, roads, and a temple as our first port of call. So bear in mind that, and maybe we might want to just leave this to rot and fester, and maybe we might want to just slowly but surely increase its prosperity. At the very least, maybe just give it a trader, who knows. Which will all be thought about as we progress through, but there we go. Moving even further east, we have Corrales. No governor here. Again, likewise, just the one building. It's exactly the same position as its neighbour. Exactly the same. So, 2 islands that are quite, well, backwards, really, to put it bluntly. Right, so we move further down. We have Admiral Thero there. Admiral Timasian there. We could just merge them, to be honest with you, but we'll leave everything exactly as it is for now. So let's go to the settlement that is our capital, our minor city. It's Carthage. In terms of the buildings that we have in here, as you would expect, a bit more built up than our little island outposts, Governor's Palace, Stables, Stonewall, Militia Barracks, Port, Market, Temple of Baal, the trade one. No, it's not. It's the public order one, actually. Land clearance. So that's the situation as it currently stands. So as we look to who is in here, it is Hasdrubal, the faction heir, who is a natural-born general, confident in defence, sharp, lively, not one to rest on his laurels, a sneaky ambusher, and a night fighter. 442 with his stats. These scream to me a man that does not wish to be holed up in a city, but one that wants to be out on the battlefield. Natural-born general, sharp, lively, likes an ambush, likes to fight at night. He's a fighter. Therefore, him being sat pretty here in Carthage is not going to wash. So we need him out in the field, campaigning as soon as possible. So that's him. In terms of what we can recruit here, this is our unit-producing city. This is our only unit-producing settlement in our sort of small empire as it currently stands. We can recruit Iberian Infantry, Round Shield Cav, and that's it. That's the best we've got at the moment, though. We can also recruit the biremes, Spy, Diplomat, and what could be pivotal to our advances, our merchants. In terms of buildings, well, there's quite a lot. It's quite complex because it's a high-level city, but we don't have all the high-level buildings. And this is where the building browser in this game I found to be really useful, actually, because we can quite clearly see which buildings are down as rank 2 buildings. For instance, the practice range and the blacksmith are still outstanding. You know, communal farming and the sewers are still outstanding, and which are actually level 3 buildings, such as the city barracks and the cavalry stables. You know, we've got the execution square, the bazaar, the shipwright, academy, and a large temple of Baal. So there's a few buildings that we can build there. We also lack some basic level 1 roads here, you'll notice. So that's the situation in Carthage in terms of its building. And we also have this chappie, Hiram Tunis, a 3-influence diplomat who is diplomatic. Which you would expect from a diplomat, wouldn't you? So that's him. He's sat there. The Numidians are close by, and so the Egyptians are not a million miles away, so there's some scope for a bit of venturing on out for him. It depends on what we want to do and who we want to ally with, who we want to trade with, who we want to turn our blades towards. It's all, well, it's all to be discussed. It's all to be debated, I suppose. But there you go. Moving down to Thapsus, we have Burus here. Burus, who is the second son, was it? The second son of the leader. 1 command, 2 influence, 4 mana. He's much more of a governor than a general. A skilled bureaucrat, sharp, devout, and a superior trader, with a merchant and a priestess at his side. So we're getting a theme here. These guys are religious. These guys like to trade. You know, that's the common theme running through the family values, if you will. So he's more of a governor. Perhaps he might be better off switching with his brother, him sitting in Carthage, whilst his brother and the faction heir goes on campaign. Could be a viable option. Available to him, he has in his garrison Iberian Infantry, Round Shield Cavalry, Town Militia. The buildings in this place, barracks, trader, and land clearance, which means there's quite a lot available for us to build here, including a port, a market, a temple is required. A religious man sat in a place with no temple surely will not wash. And in terms of the unit producing capabilities, well, it's just the basics again, peasants and town militia. So that's the situation at Thapsus. And finally, the furthest east of our cities or towns, we have Lilybane, currently overseen by Theagus. Again, he's a governor rather than a commander. Religious, again, devout religious, a common theme across the family. A merchant and a freeman clerk. Skilled bureaucrat. He's got available skirmishers and town militia. In the town, there's wooden palisade barracks and trader. Meaning, again, we've got quite a lot open to us to build. Temples, land clearance, roads. Again, the port, the market. Some of the military buildings are available, of course. So that's the situation there. And we have a spy, who we shall move here for the time being, to see the situation with the Scipii. Cornelius Scipio, the faction leader, is in Messana, with some Hastati. And here is Quintus Scipio, with some Hastati, archers and velites. We have the Greeks to the south in Syracuse, who have some hoplites, some militia hoplites, archers and peltasts. So, 3 into 1 doesn't go. There's going to be fraction here. There's going to be friction. It's going to be fractious. It's just about who takes control of Sicily. And finally, we have the big man, the 65-year-old faction leader, Hanno, who's a good commander, confident in defence, devout, religious again, a bureaucrat, a trader, and a night fighter, with a spy master following him. So he's kind of a well-rounded guy. He's capable of a bit of bureaucracy, a bit of trade, but he's also a good commander. So he's a well-rounded fella. Just a bit elderly at this point. And he has available to him some round shield cavalry, some Iberian infantry, some Balearic slingers, some Numidian mercenaries, and of course, yes, he's got a band of elephants. I've never played as Carthage before in this game. I've always played as a Roman faction, so I've never had control of elephants before. And I'm really, really, really looking forward to having control of some elephants. Particularly, if we go here... No, let's go here. You can see, if we go to the utmost level of our stables, the Royal Cavalry Stables, that enables the training of... No, it doesn't. It depends on where you recruit them, because you can see here, for instance, if we go to Carthage, the same building, because of its location, can't recruit them here, but we can recruit them here. War elephants, armoured elephants. Oh, it's got to be glorious. It's got to be glorious, my friends, if we get that far. Yeah, it's going to be fun. So yeah, we can recruit the elephants over here, where there is actually resource for elephants, not elsewhere, which is really good. So that's the current situation with all of the settlements and all of the family members and all of the agents as we have them. So yeah, get your comments down. What do you think our sort of plan should be? What buildings should we be focusing on and where? What direction should we be going? We can expand into Spain, as it is. We could expand across into the Numidians' lands, right down into Egypt if we wish. We could sail across with our naval supremacy if we get there and have a go at the Greeks. We could indeed start here, take Sicily and go up the boot of Italy and take it to the Romans right now before they get too powerful. There's lots open to us. We need a kind of a general plan, an overview, a general kind of sort of medium-term goal. And then, of course, there's the minutiae, there's the nitty-gritty. There's some trimming to be done. There's some units that are in places like this that aren't necessary. Do we disband them, or do we actually move them? Do we bring them down, all excess units, into one central location, rather than disbanding them, merge them all into one force, and have probably this guy, the commander, the general, the factionaire, the man that doesn't like to rest on his laurels, have him take control of this kind of merged army with all the excess troops dragged from across the land. and have it merge into one army and have that army go somewhere, do something, our very first campaign? And if so, where does that go? So it's a little bit of tinkering to do. You know, what's going to be the build policy? What's going to be the focus of our building? Should we, you know, well, to me, it seems like we should be prioritising temples and markets for the most part. Temples and markets for this religious family that likes a bit of trade. Start to keep people sweet. Try to branch out maybe with the Greeks and get a bit of trade rights. Try to get that kind of grounding first. Get that base sorted before we start to build up. Bit of peace where we can, rather than going straight to war. Maybe just focus on improving our financial position, get that net turn income up a bit, which takes us on to the taxes. Taxes are normal across the entire land. Of course, we can increase the taxes of individual settlements should we wish to do so, but you know, got a lot of population growth in Carthage and a lot of happiness. So for instance, should we bump the tax rate up a bit, you know? Even with very high, we're still getting a lot of happiness and a lot of growth, even with that. So, you know, tax rates to be visited as well. So lots to do, even in, you know, this is probably one of the most spread thin campaign starts I've had. I don't usually like to start with spread thin campaign starts, but I quite like the fact that we've got islands. We've got a little bit on the south coast of Spain, we've got a little bit here. So although we are spread thin, it's that I quite like the positioning of some of these places. So yeah. Anyway, short and sweet-ish. I've given you a nice in-depth overview of stuff. So yeah, I shall play out the first turns tomorrow, but I am open to your suggestions. Doesn't mean I'm going to do everything you suggest, but I am intrigued as to some of your thoughts. And as the faction leader, I will indeed do as I wish, but hey, many hands make light work, and 2 heads and 50, well, 2, 20, 30 heads are better than 1, so let's put our brains together and let's have Carthage become the dominant force in the known world. Right, so yes, see you tomorrow at some point when we get this campaign started properly. Really, really looking forward to this. Hope you are too. So until next time, folks, see you soon.